Good morning. Welcome to another Monday. Clive Enover, business strategist here with another Monday morning motivation. We're heading into a really wonderful time of the year because we think that winter time is on the way out. So we're heading into new seasons, there's new opportunities around, and yes, we're still in lockdown at the moment. Well, that is, some of us are. Those in Melbourne are in lockdown. Those of us in the rest of Victoria, we're able to move about, but it's still restricted. But we're making the best of it. The important thing is we've got all these clever things like the internet and all the communication tools that are associated with that, so that we can still talk with each other, still get our business done. Of course, some people have had to make changes to do that, and that's been trying for a lot of people, and for others it's just been business as usual because that's the way it's been done for quite some time. So what about making sure we make the best of whatever is coming our way now? And what I want to talk to you about today is what you've probably heard many times: starting with the end in mind. Well, that's one way of looking at it, and a lot of people start with the end in mind just in a very general sense. The better way of doing that is starting at the finish. Know where it's going to finish, because if you know where it's going to finish, it makes it really easy to figure out what you have to do in order to arrive at that point. Once you work through everything that's required to achieve that finish, it's then a matter of looking at, okay, do I have the skills necessary to complete all of these tasks that have to be done? Because while life is short, the journey is actually rather long, and especially if we start without having all the skills necessary to achieve what we want. We start out, we get excited, we get on top of things. Wow, no, not for long, because we get bucked off, and before we know it, we've got to go and find new skills. What if we worked out first that we need these different skills? How do we acquire these skills? Perhaps we have to go and do more learning. Alternatively, we might be able to hire somebody who already has those skills so that they can do that part of the job for us. Work all of these things out before we start, and all of a sudden that long journey isn't quite so painful. And if we've got it all worked out before we start, it's actually not so long. It means that we get there more quickly. We arrive at the finish more quickly because we've foreseen all of the obstacles. In foreseeing all of the obstacles, you've heard the old saying, forewarned is forearmed. And indeed that's what it is. If we've seen the obstacles, we've figured out what we have to do. If we've figured out what we have to do, when the obstacle arrives, it's not such a big issue. We deal with it and we move on. So that's all very well in theory. How do you go about doing it? Identify the destination. That is the finish, the real finish, your finish, not somebody else's idea of your finish, your idea of your finish. What is it? Selling the business? Is it passing it on to the children? Whatever it is, it's yours. You've thought of it, you've dreamed it up, you've made it work. Own it. That's what it's all about. Then look to all the little destinations you have to achieve along the way in order to achieve that big destination. If we know what they're all about, it's easier for us to focus on short-term goals than it is on this great big goal at the end, because that great big one might be overwhelming. If we can focus on the little ones on the way through, we'll be able to see that big one from a totally different perspective, and it might not be quite so frightening. So identify then what activities are necessary for you to achieve each of those steps along the way, and then start. That's it. Just go and do your best. And in doing your best, you'll probably have fun. And if you didn't have fun, is it really what you wanted to do? Maybe there's another decision to be made. Generally speaking, if you've spent the time to figure out what your finish is, to figure out what all the steps that are necessary to achieve along the way to achieve that finish, you're going to enjoy what you're doing. If you're enjoying what you're doing, you don't have an issue with motivation. Everything just seems to happen. It just falls into place. You've got the rhythm right. Keep working the rhythm. So there's your steps for today. Make sure you understand where it is you want to be. Make sure you understand each of the steps along the way to achieve that finish that you want. Then go out and do it. And have fun doing it. See you Monday.